So, we're still in chapter 7.2, we'll start looking at problem solving with Venn diagrams to find probabilities. And I'll just read the example 4 on page 312. In a class survey, Ricardo, Melina, Daniel, Maria, India, and James reported that they study environmental systems and societies, just shortened E here. India, Pietro, Mattia, and Hanin said that they studied geography. Ricardo and James were the only ones who reported that they studied Spanish, whereas Sophia and Julia studied none of the subjects mentioned in the survey. Represent the data in a Venn diagram. So here we've made these shapes in the Venn diagram, and this is the circle for Spanish, and here is the environmental stuff, and this is geography. And the U here stands for the universal set. So every student in this example would have to be contained within this rectangle. And I'm not going to write the names of everyone in this diagram now, but we'll just settle for the numbers. So just get a color. So if we start with Sophia and Julia that study none of these subjects, they are 2 students, so we could write a 2 down here. And Spanish, that's also 2, Ricardo and James, so we could write a 2 within the Spanish circle. Now when it comes to geography, we have 4 students, India, Pietro, Mattia, and Hanin. But geography goes into the E circle. So some students may be in both, and we can see that this is India, that she studies both geography and the ESS. So that's just 1 student that is in both circles, and the other 3, they just study geography. So, but you can see that there are 4 students altogether in the geography circle. And the last one, the environmental systems and societies circle. We know that there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students altogether. But we've already filled in 3 of them. 2 of them study Spanish, and 1 studies geography as well as ESS. So that leaves us with 3 students. And we are going to go ahead with example 5 and find these probabilities that were asked about. So we'll start with the first question. So find the probability that a randomly chosen student from this class studies ESS. And we'll look at the total number of students. So the total number of students here is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, so we have 11 students altogether in the universal set. And we want to find the probability that someone studies ESS, and that would be okay, the number of students that studies ESS divided by the number of students in the universal set. And the ESS students, that's 6 students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divided by 11. So we can write this as the probability of someone studying E. So probability of E equals number of students studying ESS divided by the total number of students, like this. Likewise, for question B, find the probability that a student studies ESS but not Spanish. Now, this is the ESS circle, and we have 6 students studying ESS. But within that circle, we have 2 students studying Spanish here. So we're left with 4. And this is, okay, we could write this as the, we could write this as the probability of, ESS but not Spanish. For now, I'll just point it like this. So the probability of studying ESS but not Spanish, we look at those 4, and how much do they make up of the total universal set? So 4 divided by 11. Now question C, find the probability that a randomly chosen student from this class studies all 3. Now, if we look at these circles, we don't have the case that all 3 circles overlap. So we can see that there are no Spanish students who also study geography. For that to happen, the circles would have to overlap. So the probability of a random student studying all 3 equals, well, 0. There are 0 number of students who study all 3, and we divide that by the number of the universal set. And that, so the probability is 0 because there aren't any students. And finally, to find the probability that a randomly chosen student studies exactly 2 of the 3 subjects, we can look at the cases where you have students studying more than 1 subject. So it would have to be in these areas where you have overlapping of circles, where you have students who are inside 2 circles at the same time. So that would be the case for the Spanish students who study see, ESS. Okay, probability of 2 of the 3 equals, so that would be 2 Spanish students who also study ESS, 2 out of 11, plus we can add the 1 student who studies both geography and ESS, and that would be 3 out of 11. Okay. Oops, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Where did that page go?